Hello, and welcome to another episode of Min's Minute Modcast. And we are back again with the awesome Dileep. Hey, Dileep.
Hey there, Min. Thanks very much for having me back.
So, if we can reinvent this world, what sorts of things do you think we should be considering, like, to make these events much more engaging? Or what prep can you do ahead of those events?
So I think for me, it's getting to know sort of the people there. So look on LinkedIn and try to get to know the person, right? And have some questions ready. I think the big thing for me from networking, it should be, what are you looking to learn and what do you want to take away from the situation? So I normally, before a networking session, I'll look at the attendees, I'll look at some cool things that they've done, and I'd really want to know how they did it, right? So how did you scale your company? How did you have 2 mobile apps rather than just having a website, for instance?
Yeah.
So be inquisitive, be curious, because that's a far better relationship and that's a far better conversation rather than thinking transactionally. You know what, I want to speak to this person because I want to sell him 2,000 books, for instance.
Yeah. There's also the way you can phrase these things, right? And I've seen, asking people, what do you do, isn't particularly the best question, because it just puts them on the spot and maybe they'll just elevate, hype up what it is. And very much sort of rethink it and say maybe perhaps what cool project are you working on, at the moment, and just make it a lot more human as opposed to can you read out your CV to me, please?
Sure. I always have this saying that sort of, you want to leave a legacy and you don't want to be remembered for your job title, right? And you don't want to be remembered for, I did this. And I always ask myself that question. I think for me, the biggest thing that I'd want someone to see me as is somebody who has helped people and somebody who has genuinely been a good person. And when you speak to them, do you have a common synergy around something that you both enjoy and you come away with a smile? Or have you just learned that this was my title?
Yes.
And I think that's an important thing for people to see, that it's not actually about that. For instance, I might be in a position in 10 years' time where you've lost that title, right? Do people actually know who you are if you have lost that title?
Yeah.
And that for me is important, because you should get to know the person.
Yeah.
Rather than what they're doing, or rather than the fact that they're looking after a big team or that they're really high up. It doesn't mean anything, right?
Yeah.
It's important for people to see, and I think people forget that, right?
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, where you get your sort of, pre-made badges that have not only your name, your title, and then, your place of work, but already you're kind of stereotyping that individual, right? So maybe it's best just to kind of have your name and then, make up your own mind once you've spoken with them.
Exactly. Or like you said, it's find out sort of what have your achievements been.
Yeah.
What do you enjoy doing? And I think back in the day, a lot of the standard question was, what football team do you support, right?
Goes without saying, right? That's obviously if they're into the sports, but yeah, that's typically what I do. Just talk about something that's, in the news or whatever, or something that's happened, and use that as a conversation starter rather than what do you do thing.